where would you start? Which list would you pull? Which marketing medium would you use to get the best ROI? As you can see, I have my hands full. I have 3 young children. They still all need their butt wiped.
That's okay. So you're in your 30s, and you got to give me
In
a
my
little bit
30s.
more than this.
So I'm in my 30s. I was a nurse for 10 years. I got burnt out corporate life. Now I'm in pharmaceutical sales. So I want to leverage that background, try to get out of the corporate life. I live in South Florida. That's the biggest, I guess, hindrance you could say.
Okay. What part?
Miami.
Okay.
Hence the Dolphins.
There you go. So you're currently employed right now, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I have a lot of free time though, considering I'm work from home.
So
but cold calling for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
I just don't. I feel like I don't have much time. As you can see, I'm always running around with these kids. I was thinking mailers.
So so how long have you been looking into wholesaling?
Honestly, maybe a couple months. I did your course.
So
I haven't got my first deal.
You are going to have to make you have to make a decision. Like and I can't completely make it for you. So I was literally in your shoes. Like, so how many kids you got?
3.
Okay. So I had 2 young kids, a big fat mortgage, and stuck in a corporate job that I hated every moment of my life. I just like I can't. I waited 12 years to go. Okay, I got to do something, and I just decided I'm going to keep my job and I'm going to use real estate, specifically wholesaling. And I didn't know it was wholesaling in the beginning. I thought it was going to be fixing and flipping. And I said, once I can replace at least a 1-year salary, then I'll quit that job. Thinking
that's a good goal.
And I did it. It was painful. I spent a lot of long weekends, and I had my kids in my car, like looking at houses and talking to customers. Like I don't have like this magical thing for you. So number one is don't try to create your life where you okay, my kids have to be separate. I get it. Like I get cold calling and the kids screaming in the background, but sometimes people ask me, when's the best time to cold call? I go, whenever you can do it. Like you have to get the volume in to do it. You have to make the decision. Nobody else can make it for you. A lot of people in your position, they'll reach out, they'll pay a mentor, think that's going to motivate them, push them in. It will only compound it, because if you don't make the decision to do it. So one of 2 ways is you work your current job to make sure you can get by and your family's taken care of, which is a responsible way to do it. And number 2 is like, I'm going to burn the bridges and like make this thing happen. That's more of a younger man's or younger woman's decision, because you have those options, because sometimes people are living at home. So you have to make that decision first. Then number 2, you have to decide if you're going to do it locally or virtually. How familiar are you with Miami?
Pretty familiar. Been here about 15, 16 years now.
So are you on the north side or the south side?
I'm by the zoo, Metro Zoo.
You're on the south side. I got it. So there's always deals in your backyard, especially if you already have the known area. So you're always going to keep working those areas. And then what you can do is pick one virtual market and attack that way. Miami's challenging. I'm not even here to hide that from you. Like I do 2 deals a year in Miami, and like I hate every minute of it. There's so many factors that go into it, and I always have to involve a lawyer, and I have to have somebody help me with the language barrier. This is just the truth. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have to know Spanish.
So, but by all the people you know, if you network, people in Miami love the trade stuff by just talking to people. It's probably the number 1 place in the country to do it. Miami's known for it. The better you're connected, the more business you're going to do. It's going to take you some time to get there. So what I would do is look at your local market, let everybody know what you do the driving for dollars when you have time, get some of the government lists, which are going to be challenging in Miami, and then go pick a virtual market where you can find properties at the lower price points, because you know the average price point in Miami is going to be south of 550, 600.
Yep.
North of it, I apologize.
Yeah,
and kind of go from there. But you got to come up with a game plan, because no matter which one you pick, you're going to put the work in. The beauty of a virtual market is you can pick it. And me and Zach have done plenty of videos to help you pick the right virtual market. We actually just did one that even suggests one for you, for those of you that don't even know where to start. Are there challenges virtually? Yeah. But when you're trying to start at, houses approaching $1 million, it's very challenging when you're new to this business. So if you want it bad enough, you'll get it. It's just the question, are you willing to go through the roadblocks to get there? Nobody's going to give you a shortcut. You can pay this guy 10 grand, you can pay this girl 5 grand, or you can have me do it for free. It's going to be the same amount of work on your side. I try to tell people this all the time. So many people have a false hope. If I hire this guru, it's going to fix all my problems and they're going to make me accountable. Honestly, if you're not accountable to yourself, you will never be accountable to any guru or any mentor out there. So the foundation, everything we teach here at Free Wholesaling is about, if you'll be accountable and be brutally honest with you and stop trying to filter everything to your former personality, like the way you were, you have a great shot. But I get so many people, if I tell them, listen, you got to make 300 cold calls every day for the next 32 days. And the minute we do an accountability call, they're like, I got tired after 50. They start negotiating with themselves. You are going to have to find a way to stay out of that one, because that is probably the biggest killer I have teaching people wholesaling. I cannot help people's work ethic if you're not going to hold yourself accountable. Dude, you think I'm super bright? I'm not. Dude, I am like your 800-900 SAT type of score guy, but I will outwork almost anybody. I just know it. And I do everything that way. I wasn't always that way. I had to learn. And guys, to be brutally honest, I went through a 5-year journey to figure out how to really make wholesaling work. Once I knew how to talk to sellers and I learned how to spend a little bit of money on marketing and then be consistent, I created so many other problems for me, and they're good problems. Like, okay, what do I do with this money now? And guess what? I blew it. I blew millions of dollars when I first started. And whenever I've ever had a problem or I started like I got into financial problems because I knew how to make money, I just didn't know how to keep it. Whenever I got in trouble, I just went back and dug in wholesale, marketed like crazy. I talked to sellers. And so now I'm in a position where I know how to keep it. I know how to make it. And now I'm on my final mission, which is creating a legacy to help you guys out as much as possible. You are no different than me. If you think you are, you're lying to yourself. I do not have this special capability. If not, I guarantee, Tim, I'm slower than you because you said you came from a nursing background, right?
Oncology.
Brutal. It's hard. My daughter's a nurse. Yeah. So like I know the stuff, like you go through it. So she's studying to get her doctorate so she can advance past the nursing because she's looked around working on stuff. She's like, man, like all nurses burn out in the end. It's hard.
Yep.
And I go, listen, try to find the next level. She didn't want to be a doctor, so she's going to wind up being like a nurse practitioner type of deal. And so you kind of have the same journey as me. You're in Miami. I get it. So like, don't use that as your hindrance. And your kids, engage it, dude. I can't tell you how many times I drag my kids on to look at a house and stuff like that. My kids were like, hey, this is it, man. You want more time with me? This is how we're going to do it. So the beauty of wholesaling is it gave me all the time to spend with my kids. But hey, I got to stop by. Daddy's got to talk to these people. And then daddy's got to make a bunch of phone calls. Give me 2 hours. And then I would kind of make it a game with my kids. My kids have grown up. That's all they've ever known. But I had to answer just the same questions you do. So I want you to make decisions based on yourself. And you can do anything. You can do, there's so many things you need to make. I'm biased. I know wholesaling works really well. The problem is people try to time the market. They try to do it their own way. And if you'll commit to a program, just like even freewholesaling.com, if you will do exactly what they say, it works. The only difference between people who succeed and fail is the amount of action they take. So if you try to sit there and go, well, I know he said 300 calls. I'm only going to make 50 because that's my personality. I'm like, dude, personality got you where you are right now. It's like every person on this live has the ability to change and you are no different. So you just have to make a decision at the macro level and then you can get excited about creating like kind of your micro plan. How am I going to fund this? How much time do I have dedicated? How am I going to deal with my kids while I do that? And which market am I going to do? And you're going to have to do like just answer them in that order and work it back. And that's what I would do.
Appreciate it, Rick.
There is no dude. There is no magic decision or anything like that. The key thing is you have to make a decision because if you don't make a decision, that's actually making a decision and it will hinder you the most. The person that can't make a decision, I will run like plague because I'd rather you tell me yes or no, like maybe does not register in my book and I will nail people down when they do it. So what I'd like you to do is come back on here and say, I don't know, give yourself a week, 5. You only need, in my opinion, an hour or two, and then just figure out what you want to do and get forward. And if it doesn't excite you and get your blood boiling, then find the path that's going to get it. I'm biased. I think wholesaling's it, but it's completely up to you.
Thank you. I have one specific question, I guess.
Shoot.
If I were to do mailers, how often will I be selling them out? I want to target pre-probate and code violations. I was able to pull the code violation list.
Well, if you do probate, you try to do them as often as you can because there's not that many. And then with code violations, you just mail once a month.
Once a month, okay.
Yeah, see most mailings are usually once every 30 days. Other than probates, the quicker you mail a probate out, the better your odds are going to be.
Okay.
So listen, I got people on this live making a killing just off of MLS wholesaling, but I'm here to tell you that's the hardest route in my opinion. But some people's personality matches to that and they get excited about it. I'm like, knock yourself out. As long as you're contacting a couple thousand people, you might have a shot. And then you have to work with real. And that's not my favorite way to do it. So,
yeah.
But it's a huge numbers game when you do that. So, but you have to make a decision, Tim. Like it's your decision. And you know what is hard about it is when you have to make your own decision, especially when you have a family, is you feel a lot of weight on your shoulder. But stop thinking about what can go wrong and start thinking about what can go right with wholesaling. And you'll look at it as an opportunity as opposed to like a hindrance. Those are the clues I'm going to give it to you.
Appreciate it, Rick.
Okay, man. I'll talk to you.